Isolated, frustrated, hopeless, fearful,
lonely,
desperate.
The Aberdeen Cyrenians have been striving to provide a range of services and support to those who are homeless or suffering hardship in the Aberdeen area for just over 50 years. In this episode of Charities Changing Aberdeen, follow me as I speak to the volunteers and staff at a warm and welcoming community who are helping to improve the lives of many. I will also find out more about the services that they provide. It's a Friday morning at Aberdeen Cyrenians and everybody is getting ready to open the doors for the daily direct access session that runs Monday to Friday. It's generally steady until lunchtime and early afternoon, so I decided to catch up with some of the team. Chloe has been with the Aberdeen Cyrenians for 2.5 years. She shares the role of volunteer coordinator with Grant, who's been with the team for just over a month.
I'm Chloe Bartlett, I'm one of our volunteer coordinators.
I'm Grant Copeland, I'm one of the volunteer coordinators here at Aberdeen Cyrenians.
My role is a bit diverse, there's quite a lot to it. So part of my role is supporting our volunteers. So we have over 90 regular volunteers. So part of it is to support them, make sure that they're inducted, do the recruitment, retention, and just overall making sure that our volunteers have a good volunteer experience.
I'm probably at my desk for about 40% of my day really, because I'm always like in the kitchen or like out at our food hub, which is where we keep all our donations, and just kind of like trying to get mucked in because as I said, all the volunteers are so nice. It's really good to be able to be like involved with them and have a chat and just make sure everything's running fine for them.
There's no such thing as kind of doing a selfless thing, in my opinion. But it is like it's such a rewarding job when you do see kind of that impact of someone even just getting hot food or being able to meet other service users or interacting with volunteers, and everyone is on the same page. Like we're all people, and that's what we kind of have a community within a community at Street Alternatives, and I think that's the most rewarding thing for me is to see that interaction, and you can't help but feel good about that.
The Direct Access service is a drop-in session held at their Summer Street hub every day. Resettlement workers are there to provide support to those who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. They work hard to help those in need with a variety of issues that can have an effect on an individual accessing or sustaining permanent accommodation. They also provide help to those who suffer mental health problems, substance misuse and addiction, and also social isolation. The support team can identify and allow individuals to access government support like benefits if they're entitled to it. During direct access sessions, food parcels, clothing and toiletries can be given out to individuals who need them. As mentioned earlier in this documentary, Street Alternatives offer practical support to those in the Aberdeen area who are sleeping rough or have little or no access to important facilities. This means not having access to cooking equipment or a shower.
So Street Alternatives is our volunteer-led emergency food service. So it's a service for people who are rough sleeping, for sofa surfing. They might be in temporary accommodation that doesn't have cooking facilities. So it's essentially for anyone who doesn't have access to cooking facilities. At the service they can also access showers and laundry facilities as well, just to kind of ensure that people can meet their basic needs of kind of getting fed, being warm and having that access to feel a wee bit better, you know, just from even just having a shower and things like that can make such a difference to folks' mood, and you can see that visible lift in mood.
The Street Alternatives project is supported by a large team of passionate volunteers who provide hot meals, hot showers and access to laundry services. Individuals can also access clothing and toiletries if they request it. They are also invited along to external activities such as trips to football games or to the theatre to make friends, and this also allows volunteers and staff to reintroduce them back into the wider community and help them work towards living independently. However, without funds, these services could not run. If we use the example of somebody donating £3,000 to the Aberdeen Cyrenians following an event, this could cover either 8.5 days of direct access, which costs £350 to run a day. It would make around 630 appointments available where support and advice can be provided, and also allow 120 food parcels to be handed out. Or instead, with each session of street alternatives costing £200, £3,000 could fund 15 sessions, allowing 400 hot meals, 100 showers, and 50 laundry cycles to be provided. I got the chance to have a chat with Bryony, the Charities community fundraiser. She works with community groups like schools, churches, and youth groups to raise money and organise collections for clothing, toiletries, and food.
My name is Bryony Shepherd. I am the community fundraiser for Aberdeen Cyrenians. We do lots of things. We always have people who kind of take part in sort of sponsored runs, sponsored walks. I guess next year I would maybe like to do something like a bungee jump or something, like a challenge event. So, but as well, people tend to come to us with ideas of things they want to do themselves, and it's sort of my job to help facilitate that. What's nice about my job is that if I have an idea, then I can kind of make it a reality, which is really fun. So we do a sleep out every year, which is really good fun. So we just had it a few weeks ago. So it was in Union Square car park, and it's basically a sponsored sleep out where we ask people basically to spend the night sleeping outside to get an idea of what it's like to be homeless, and raise sort of awareness and money for us as well. So that's a really fun event.
Bryony also had the opportunity to work with Liam Gallagher's press team ahead of his concert at P&J Live back in mid-November, where people could gain the chance to win tickets and a meet and greet with him if they donated a parka jacket to the charity.
It can be quite varied, which is quite nice. So we're planning for Christmas at the moment, so I have a busy afternoon ahead of printing letters, printing brochures, getting kind of stuff posted out to people that we interact with fairly regularly. So we have a lot of regular church supporters, a lot of schools that support us pretty frequently as well. It's basically just touching base with them. And then we've got some stuff going to the press on Monday, so just making sure that the kind of press release and that's all tightened and ready to go when I get here on Monday morning.
While I left Bryony to the rest of her busy afternoon, I decided to go and find out more about food parcels and how they are made up. Food parcels are made with the intention for an individual to be able to have enough food to last 3 days. This includes breakfast, lunch, tea and snacks for those who have access to cooking facilities. Some of the donated food also gets used in the kitchen. Hot meals such as soup are provided to service users during street alternatives in the dining room, where they can also access tea, coffee and board games. The demand for food parcels has been on the rise over the last 4 years. 1,823 were handed out in 2016. In 2017, this increased to 2,855. Last year, 3,234 were given out, and between January and September this year, 2,457 were handed out, and this is set to increase further with Christmas approaching around the corner. I was particularly interested in how Aberdeen Cyrenians help women and also those suffering domestic abuse, including men and children. This is Fiona Whitehouse, the service manager for the 2 projects Aberdeen Cyrenians run to help these groups.
I'm Fiona Whitehouse and I am Service Manager of 2 of the projects in Aberdeen Cyrenians, so the Violence Against Women project and the Domestic Abuse Support and Accommodation project. For our Domestic Abuse Support and Accommodation project, the focus there is specifically domestic abuse, so from partner or ex-partner, and it's for people who need support to gain safe accommodation. So for some it might be they want to stay where they are, but it's helping them to make that safer. Safety resources, getting protective measures and legal measures in place. For a lot of people, it will never feel like a safe place because they'll feel like a sitting target, or they will have, or they may have memories of all the abuse that's happened there. So it's about helping them to get alternative accommodation. And the Violence Against Women project works with women who've experienced any form of gender-based abuse. It could be domestic abuse, it could be abuse from others in the family, women who are experiencing rape and sexual assault, involvement in sexual exploitation and kind of commercial sexual exploitation, being involved in prostitution, in lap dancing, in working in brothels, working with women who've been trafficked. The support will be for as long or as short as is needed. So our forefront for road services is looking at safety, looking at physical safety, mental health and well-being, physical health and well-being. So helping people to establish safety, to look at what the issues are for them relating to the abuse, and working in a planned way through all the issues, to hopefully be able to help them to move on from the violence and abuse they've experienced. For some people, being able to make some small steps will be a real positive. For others, they're able to really kind of move on from the violence and abuse they've experienced, to be settled in safe, kind of permanent long-term accommodation, to kind of rebuild their lives really. So I think the success that we're seeing is really measured by how it's impacted and how it's helped that individual. But it is really rewarding, obviously, to see people that are able to move on from living in an abusive situation to move into a safe, settled situation, and being able to kind of rebuild their lives in whatever way that they choose to do so.
Volunteers are a huge part of the Aberdeen Cyrenians. There are roughly 90 altogether.
Volunteers are very important to this organisation all the year round. They support the work we do, like street alternatives. They help us with our food parcels, they help us with our clothes banks, they help us support service users on day trips and programmes such as that, so they're very, very valuable.
I spoke to Dave, a retired IT worker who is now a volunteer driver who also makes food parcels for the charity.
I am Dave and I volunteer and I do food parcels on a Wednesday and I'm also a driver on Thursday. I quite enjoy both things I do. I enjoy the driving where I go and collect donations from supermarkets and around town, private donations and so on. When I retired, I wanted to do something useful that wasn't related to what I'd done at work. And although what I do is indirectly helping people, I find it's you feel like making a contribution to people who are in unfortunate circumstances, and somewhere we all could have been really if it wasn't for just for certain circumstances or change of circumstances and so on. So just it's helping make that sort of contribution really.
Over the last 50 years, Aberdeen Cyrenians have helped over 50,000 people who are in need. During the making of this documentary, I have learned so much about the behind-the-scenes work that goes into helping those who need support the most, and I now feel more understanding of those who are homeless or in poverty. It's shocking how quickly situations can turn around and how people can find themselves in such a scary and lonely position. And what would you say is your favourite part of your role?
Favourite part of my role is being able to watch people grow and develop, and to develop new services that help people who are the most vulnerable in our communities move on with their lives. I remember lots of experiences that I've lived with service users. They go back 30 odd years that I've been in social work.
Yeah.
I could sit here for the next week and tell you about some fantastic life stories and lived experience. They all mean something to me. I couldn't pick out one of them because they're all individual and they all mean something for individual people, but one of the good things about this job is that I have lots and lots of stories about people turning their lives around.